Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and tonight we're going to be talking about people have had relationships with aliens. Who've actually had relationships with aliens, apparently. We'll be looking at that tonight. But first, while we wait for people to gather in the chat, let me go off and show off some artwork from my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs, okay? Here we go. Here is my extreme 90s cover. This cover I did to harken back to the comic books of the 90s. This pretty much has all of my characters that will be appearing on my graphic novel on this cover. Now, The Scumdogs, the name of my graphic novel, is a parody book. I parody the cartoons we all know and love when we were growing up, and the Scumdogs themselves are supervillains out to take over the world. They used to be former pro athletes who competed in superhuman sporting events held with superhuman monsters as the athletes known as Scumdog Sports. See, they were called scum and dogs because they traded in their humanity to transform themselves into superhumanly powerful monsters to compete in, See, because they did that for money and stuff, or whether for fame and fortune losing their humanity, and they did either through one way or another. They either used science or some more esoteric means to transform themselves into superhuman monsters. But what happened? So you get the idea these guys aren't exactly the nicest guys around. But what happens when they get banned from sports? Well, the Scumdogs decide to take over the world. They're led by their leader known as Deathmug. He's the purple guy with the metal mask over here who's fighting his arch enemy in the Space Forces, Buick Starpoon. Now, Deathmug is an arrogant dictator who wants to rule the world, and he's got various aspects of villains from 80s cartoons. If you notice him, he looks very much like the leaders of Cobra from G.I. Joe. He has a mental mask like Cobra Commander, and he's got gold on him like Serpentor, and stuff like that. And he's also got a skull face, very much like Skeletor, as well as him being purple like the Shredder. Skeletor from He-Man, and he's purple like the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, his archenemy Buick Starpoon, him and the rest of his team are basically G.I. Joe parodies. He's mostly a parody of Duke from G.I. Joe, but he's also a parody of the space opera hero kind of character. You see the pink pompadour hair? He's mostly a parody of, Zap Brannigan, Captain Kirk from Star Trek, Buzz Lightyear, or Buck Rogers, those kinds of heroes. So he's an arrogant military type of parody character. So he's like taking those types of characters and inflating their egos to even over-the-top hysterics and stuff like that, or over-the-top. He never admits he's wrong, even though everyone can tell what he's doing is wrong, and he never stops till he basically, he never stops. He's a complete idiot, and it's just going to be fun when you read about him. Now, the other members of his team in the Space Forces are on this cover. This guy with the mohawk over here, whose name is Roadhog, his military specialty is that he's an army guy. While this bald guy with a gun down here in the blue uniform, his name is Beach Pounder. His military specialty is that he's a Marine. Before he was joined up with the Space Forces, he was part of the Marines. He was Marines. Then there's this guy in the red uniform back here. His name's Blast Tank. His military specialty is that he's a tanker. Looks pretty fun, huh? This cover is one of 3 different variant covers you'll be able to look back when it goes live. So there's that as well to look forward to. And by the way, hit that like button for me. It really helps me fight the algorithm so more people can see my content. The more people that see my content, the faster my graphic novel Scumdogs will come out to you on Indiegogo. I'm working on the book every day, and when it's out on Indiegogo, go back it, folks. Here we're going to look at Girl Friday. She's another member of the Wild Rangers. That's the name of Buick Starpoon's team in the Space Forces. She was assigned as Buick Starpoon's second in command by her superiors in the Space Forces because while the Wild Rangers fight the Scumdogs and save the universe, they're just morons who destroy stuff. So to head off criticism, her superiors assigned Girl Friday as Buick Starpoon's second in command, and she hates him. She hates her job because she's basically been reduced to, her career is over, basically. Her career is basically over because, she feels like her career is over because she is basically just a babysitter. That's Girl Friday. And here we have Deathmug's henchmen, because in all 80s cartoons, the main villain of the cartoon would have henchmen, and they'd be idiots. These are my idiots. The pink guy down here is Sloppy, and the blue guy up here with the top hat is Murdermouth. There are a couple of idiots that can't do anything right, but they're going to be fun when you read about them in my graphic novel when you back it. It's just fun. Huh? Now, here we have Hair Metal Doctor. Hair Metal Doctor is a parody of Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe, a mad scientist. But my mad scientist has been crossed over with a hair metal musician because that's awesome. He thinks of all the machines the scumdogs use to try and take over the universe. He does it while rocking out. That's Hair Metal Doctor. And here we have Miss Breasty Melons, who's basically a parody of the Baroness from G.I. Joe. But unlike the Baroness, she's a party girl who wants to have fun. She only became a villain to have fun. That's Miss Breasty Melons. Now, the Hair Metal Doctor pinup and the Miss Breasty Melons pinup will be included with other pinups in my graphic novel when you back it, but I will also get these pinups out to you on t-shirts for you to back as well from Crypto Fashion as soon as I'm able to make them. I talked about my characters here and stuff like that. Now you know about what to look forward to on my graphic novel. So yeah, keep looking for scumdogs. Well, you folks, you're going to love this book. Now we're going to be talking about humans who've had affairs with aliens, apparently, talking about various stories like that. So we'll be having some fun. Let me see over here. Anyone's hit that like button? So, aliens, swinging fun, and secret surveillance. But first, before we do all of that, let's go to Indiegogo real quick and check about Angry Squad. Graham Nolan's new book is out. It's been out a while. It's made $89,690. It looks pretty good. Stomp 2 comic book has made $5,998. It's also good. Let's look at Alien Alamo, which has made quite a bit of money. It looks very good, doesn't it, folks? It looks very good. In fact, let me move this over here. Alien, whoops, do this right here. Here, yeah. All right. Alien Alamo. Hello, you can back this book for $25. You have 3 different covers you can get, and each of them looks pretty good. Let's see, it's 57. The Russians have just launched Sputnik into orbit. The world is changing, and veteran Travis Houston was struggling to adapt. All Travis wanted when he mustered out of the Marine Corps at the end of the war was some peace and quiet and a safe place to raise his son, James. But the horrors he experienced in the Pacific and the death of his wife have left him empty and distant. The meteor shower changed all that, only it wasn't a meteor shower. It was an invasion. Creatures from another world want ours, and it's the only thing standing between them and us is a man and a man and his boy. Will he be able to do it? Well, the Houstons are vastly outnumbered, but they are Texans, and they have each other. So the odds are in their favor. Now, as I said, this book looks good. You can back this book for $25. You can also get Alien Alamo plus the Chenoo together for $50. That is good as well. This comic book looks good. It's still in demand on Indiegogo, so go back it, folks. It looks very good. Let's look at the updates. July 19th. Good morning, Alamo advocates. First, I want to welcome the many new backers to this update. So thanks to all the campaign is closing in on 89,000, and we are on track to beat the Chenoo. Pretty amazing stuff, my friends. I had another week at the board completing inks through page 30 as well as adjusting dialogue this week. I'll be laying out and scripting the next 10 pages in a preparation for finishes. Oh, here's some more artwork for it. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah. That's Alien Alamo. Let's go back over here now. Let's go this way. All right. Mavericks Origins 1 has made over $8,000. Earthbound Part 2 has made $51,336. Cyberfrog action figures are at $298,571 with 9 days left. Oh, that is good. That is most definitely good. This campaign is going to be funded very soon. I have to say that much. And it looks great. $298,571 already. It's nearly at 300,000. Well, it's going to make it very soon to 400 to making all the way. So that's good. Now, let's go over here. Let's look at the Cyberfrog action figures. Modern Cyberfrog you can back for $40. The same with the other two. Heather Swan and the other Cyberfrog action figure, but the Vespid action figure will cost you $75. That's good right there. And each time this campaign reaches a new perk, you'll get new heads and new hands and other things added to it. You'll be added to each of these action figures, so you're getting that as well when you back it. Each of them looks great, and they look pretty as pretty. The figure is fully adjustable and looks good. Now, before we do anything else, let's look at this action. When the monster well, I would look at this trailer. I'm having a fear that you can't actually look at this because you might get copyright struck. At least I need to ask Ethan about that before I do that again. Well, I looked at this, so maybe we'll move on. So, Aliens, Secret Surveillance. Let's look at these stories. Let's see. One of the more intriguing but unfortunately lesser known of the 50s era contactees was Sonia Librecon. Sonia was a woman who had a background in full life filled with mystery, adventure, and fun intrigue. 56, she claimed to have been taken on a trip to Saturn by Space Brothers to her eternal delight. Sonia found that the people on the huge ringed planet were highly sexually active and particularly liked hosting swinging parties. That's a far and welcome cry from the grim encounters that people report with today's small, black-eyed, gray aliens. Sonia also had a connection to the ultimate contactee, George Amensky. The whispered word galactic grapevine was that during a wild orgy in Australia, Sonia got nailed by none other than the legendary extraterrestrial Orthon himself. Interesting. A close encounter, or several of the sexual kind, to be sure, if we are to take Sonia's word at her word, as Librecon also claimed deep contact with the very heart of the U.S. government, even maintained that she had spent time attending top secret meetings and UFOs at the White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico. How much of Sonia's story was true is a guess. Yeah, it's a guess here. It's notable, though, that the Australian Security Intelligence Agency decided to open a file on her. In part, that dossier provides these words from the OCO, a member of the Queensland Flying Saucer Research Bureau, who was extremely active during the visit of George Amensky, was a Sonia Librecon, a nationalized Australian of Yugoslav origin who previously resided in Strait Valley. This person was carried away to the extent that she believed she had traveled in spacecraft to other planets on the 16th of, 1959, July 16th and stuff. She left her... 1959, she has left her employment and traveling on an Australian passport. Issued on the 29th June 1959. Issued at Brisbane. 1959. Traveled by Quince flight EM 742 from Sydney to 21st July 1959 to the United States of America to join George Amensky. UFO investigator Harkin Blomqvist said of Librecon that she continued living in California, and on July 12, 1979, married William Paul Apton. She then changed her name to Sonia Appleton. They eventually settled in Honolulu, Hawaii, where marriage ended. Sonia died in Honolulu just before the 63rd birthday, July 2nd, 1989. It should be noted that the primary reason why the had Librecon why this Australians UFO thing had Leprechaun in their sights and kept abreast of her activities was because of her background, namely that she was born in until the age of 20 lived in Yugoslavia, that in 1946 became the Communist Federal People's Republic of Yugoslavia. While Leprechaun and her family fled Yugoslavia in 1947, there were some agents of the OSIO who pondered the possibility that she might have had communist leanings. This was, of course, during the Cold War. It was a period when just about anyone who had what was perceived by old suit and tie wearing geezers in government. Yeah, well, I think it would have been a smart idea to keep your eye on her if she was a communist, as an alternative lifestyle might have had a file opened on them. Whether or not this was a case of the OSIO case reaching out just a bit, well, the Australian for the just a bit too far, and the case of the too far we'll likely never know, but it's an undeniable fact that Australian intelligence agents ensured that they knew where and when Sonia went and why, how deeply exactly did the surveillance go. Well, put it like this: we can see from the now available material on Sonia that they knew all about their plans to try to fly to the United States and hang out with Amensky. They had the name of the airlines. They even knew the flight numbers and had her Australian passport number on file. Whatever the truth behind it, Sonia controversial claims about flying saucers, they were certainly enough to make the sit up and take notice, and that's exactly what its agents did. Okay, so we have this one story about Sonia, who had basically been in relationships with aliens, or so she says. And this is what we'll be looking at tonight, folks. Talking about these various stories about people who maybe have done it with aliens. Aliens, worms, worm with the 3 sexes discovered in hostile California, huh? Alien worm? Aliens like us, would ET enjoy the same things we do? From fairies to aliens, one and the same. Let me go over here. There's a more on the topic over here. Hundreds of Brits claim they've had sex with aliens. Before we do that, folks, let me go over here and do this. I think I'll share this out on Twitter real quick. I'll be right back. All right, let's see. UFO stream now. Use the link. Hashtag comics gate. That there. Tweet that out. Go over here, go to profile. Get that real quick. Unpin from profile. Unpin. Pin to profile. There. So, folks, if you want to, go share that out and get more people on here and have some more fun. Now we did this. Let's. There's one more thing I want to do as well. So I'll go over here. I'm going to see. No, it doesn't look like it. Too bad. I guess I'll do that. Let's look at this. Look at this here. Are extraterrestrials selective about who on Earth they choose? Let me do this. Feel free to leave me a few chats, folks, because I love to hear from you guys. To have sex with, not the usual probing so often reported by abductees, but close encounters of the twosome, threesome, or moresome kind that may or may not result in human-alien hybrids. If you're a British and this is your bucket list, you may be in luck. A new poll found that hundreds of UK residents claim to have had sex with space aliens and identify the places it's most likely to happen. Buckingham Palace, at the Tower of London, smack in the middle of Stonehenge. We were astonished to see how many people claim to have had intimate relations with aliens, particularly in the cities of Norwich and others. There must be something about those spots which makes these experiences more common than the rest of the UK. The recent survey was conducted by Buzz Bingo, a gambling site, and spokesperson David Abrams admitted to the Daily Star that they were astonished by the results. Nearly 300 people responded to the survey to claim to have had imminent and we assume consensual relations with extraterrestrials. Of those, over 25% were from Norwich. which in another survey was named the UFO capital of the UK, with 31% of the people living with claiming to have seen a UFO. Second in the ET's sex survey was Bristol at 23%, with Liverpool coming in around 22%. What if the respondees are serious? Is attracting ETs to these UK cities like guys on expense accounts to Vegas strip clubs? What is causing ETs the flight to just do the Norwich one-night stand on the Bristol stomp? Well, or this doing anywhere in any of these cities? That's an interesting question. Are these people actually serious? I mean, are these people actually serious? It's instinctive to fear the unknown, and why shouldn't aliens be friendly? Estimated British ufologist Nick here points out that the aliens could be friendly. Perhaps they're prepared for their Earth trip by reading some other recent polls, which found that Americans have no plans made in the event of an ET encounter other than be armed, while Brits say that they'll stick up on essentials and welcome them with a pot of tea and a freshly baked cake. When receiving such a warm, open armed greeting, it's no wonder aliens would respond in kind by showing Earthlings what the extraterrestrial really means. Maybe they are really out there and this is their way of communicating. David Abrams seems to be imagining space aliens as some sort of creatures who speak. Dave Abrams seems to be imagining space aliens, some sort of creatures who speak with their bodies rather than their mouths or minds. Well, that sounds like a sailor's dream, and we know how those encounters with sirens and mermaids turned out, or the plots of a porn movie. When porn movies had plots, he may be onto something. Should NASA set up a special investigative committee to research this possibility, or maybe it should be just send a delegation to Norwich? Speaking of alien sex recipients, are they telling the truth? Did they really have sex with ETs? Are they subconscious desires manifesting into lucid dreams? Who knows? But funny. Very, very weird. Very, very weird, folks, I have to say. Book claims aliens recently kidnapped over 200 humans. Sex. Where's sex? Should I look at that one, folks? There's another article we can talk about. But are people actually having sex with aliens? Did they actually do that? I mean, there are various accounts of men doing other things. If I could remember, this one guy basically had for decades had sex with this alien girl who he painted and stuff like that. Another guy claims that he fell in love with this alien woman who was 200 years old, who was very beautiful and stuff like that. And basically, his wife divorced him. He didn't have sex with the alien woman. He was only taking on board her spacecraft, and he basically talked with her. But apparently, she was so beautiful that he fell in love with her, and this caused his wife to leave him, divorce him. Now, if I could remember his name, I'd do so. Just a moment, folks. I think let me go over here. I want to try something real quick. Let me do this. Do this. Let me do this. I'm going to see. Let's see. I'm trying to get into here it is. No, for some odd reason, I can't get into this website that talks about various alien encounters and stuff. I keep trying to get into it, but I can't seem to do it. Let's see, which book should I look? Russell Brand? Never. Okay, I think I'll look at Swedish group promotes safe sex with space aliens. Should I look at this one, folks? Or should I look at this other one? Let's look at this one. The aliens are having recently kidnapped aliens have recently kidnapped over 200 humans for doing it so they can do it. You may know Jerome as a former editor of Fate magazine or as the author of A Natural Phenomenon, A Guide to the Bizarre Wonders of North America. Other books are co-author with Lauren Coleman. Jerome Clark and Lauren Colwell in his other one. Cryptozoology A to Z, or from his many television appearances. Discussing the subject of UFOs. However, none of those things, nor his other noteworthy accomplishments in the field of UFO research, will get him as much exposure and notoriety as a few sections of his latest 7-volume collection, The UFO Phenomenon, which covers UFO reports 543 BCE to present time. Note this series is an updated Kindle version of the UFO Encyclopedia, The Phenomenon from the Beginning, which was first published in 1998, in particular UFOs in the late 20th century. In the new era, 1991-2020, the UFO Phenomenon, Book 7, has already made headlines for Clark's revelation that, by his account, of 212 people have been abducted by aliens since 2014 for the purpose of sex. For the purpose, huh? Purpose of sex. Abductions can happen anywhere, and it may last anything from 20 minutes to 5 days. The usual duration is 1 of 3 hours. Most happen at night. A key procedure is inspection of the reproductive organs, often followed by extraction of sperm or eggs. That sounds pretty clinical, and the fact many stories of sexual encounters between human and extraterrestrials emphasize that even if the intercourse was consented to and the alien was sexually attractive, the experience was generally not pleasurable. That sexual attractiveness in some other cases is what extremely drew the son to Clark. Their usual dresses coverall or one-piece jumpsuit, often skin-tight, perhaps even so snug that the being appears are nude. In the chapter titled Coronary Cars, Clark describes the experience of Peter Corey, the head of media at Australian news company in Nimra, who claimed that in his 1992 abduction involved having 2 nude blonde aliens kneeling on his bed, one of whom engaged in a foreplay before attempting to have sex, a failed attempt that allegedly left him with a few blonde hairs for evidence. According to the review, the hair was analyzed and found to be a hybrid of Asian and Gaelic advanced. All right. Not so sure about that. Clark doesn't ignore really close encounters of the female kind. The review tells the account of a woman. Let me do this. Clark doesn't ignore really close encounters of the female kind. Tells of the account of a woman who from Indianapolis who told Clark aliens impregnated her. That is interesting, is it not? People say they've had relationships with aliens. And by the way, folks, hit that like button for me, will you? It really helps me fight the algorithm, so more people can see my content. And the more people that see my content means my graphic novel Skim Dogs will come out to you all. Yeah, will come out. Also, hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications. And please go share this video on Twitter and Facebook. Clark doesn't really ignore really close encounters. Tells the account of a woman from Indianapolis who told Clark aliens impregnated her while she was on a cruise ship. Earthly, not alien, returned a few months later for their fetus and again to introduce her to her hybrid daughter. In the Simple the Kindle book on Amazon, Clark tells of Antonio here, who claimed he was abducted in 1958 by many small beings who dragged him inside a landed UFO, drew blood samples, and left him in a room where he had sexual relations with an almost human female to show him how times have changed. Clark shares that the few ufologists who knew of this report kept it hidden in a plain brown envelope of secrecy because of the damage interspecies sex would do to the field. However, stories of alien abductions picked up in the later half of the 60s, and today this kind of sex is almost mandatory in TV and movie alien stuff. Did teaser interview in the Sun have you breathing heavily for more alien sex stories? Clark's 7-volume set was released on Kindle last week. Requirements to start from the beginning. You can skip right to the good parts in Volume 7. However, based on Clark's large body of reputable books on UFOs, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, strange creatures of the paranormal world, it would certainly be enjoyable and enlightening to start from the beginning. All right, interesting there. Let's see, other stories. Okay, Let me go down here to see if there's any other stuff. Are aliens really what they seem to be? We could look at that one. That might talk about aliens. Americans believe in ghosts. Ghost species frequent sex with ancient humans. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe was about to reveal about the UFOs were real. Was that what she was going to do? All right. Interesting. Let me see about this. Marilyn Monroe murdered. What knew about UFOs? My new controversial. Maybe we'll know about that. Right. Let me go back over here. Let's look at this to see if this has anything to do with it. But what do you think about this, folks? Let's see if we have anything to. Just recently, about an article about Mysterious Universe on the matter of sex with robots. The article was promoted by a long lost interview years ago with the late Tawny. Well, I have found another interview I did with Tawny on a completely different issue. This one specifically on the original audio version, which finally surfaced again. It was done tape with a year before he died. The subject Tawny's theories, which led to the 2010 publication of his book, Crypto-Terrestrials. Tawny suggested that the alien abductions of the abilities of the SIMBTs to breathe our air and their concerns about nuclear war were all due to the fact that aliens were from right here and not from faraway worlds. Tawny's told me of a great deal of the interview, portions of which he relayed to me, down to the phone direction from his original Word document, parts which were taken blogging days after devouring countless books on the UFO controversy and the paranormal. I began to acknowledge that the extraterrestrial hypothesis severed some tantalizing flaws. In short, that aliens seemed more like surreal characters of ourselves and beings possessed of godlike technology, one might plausible expect from interstellar visitors like UFO researcher Jacques. I came to the realization that the extraterrestrial hypothesis isn't strange enough to encompass the entirety of occupant cases. But if we're dealing with humanoid beings that evolved here on Earth, well, some of the problems vanish. Tawny's continued. I envisioned the crypto-terrestrials otherwise ultra-terrestrials, engaged in a process of subterfuge, bending our belief systems to their own ends. It suggests that this has been occurring in form or another for an extraordinarily long time. I think there's a good deal of folkloric and mythological evidence pointing in this direction. I find that most interesting that so many descriptions of aliens seem to reflect staged events designed to misdirect witnesses and muddle their perceptions. Bob Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn. Hail, Bob Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn. Thank you for drawing into thank you for coming to the Scumdog's Kennel. Feel free to sit down and listen to me as I talk to you about alien sex, or there are people who claim to have had sex with aliens. Right now we're looking at this article about ultra-terrestrials and stuff like that. During the course of his research in the crypto-terrestrial theory, Tun spent a great deal of time addressing the matter of alien abductions. For those who aren't fully aware of the nature of the phenomenon, a bit of background. Data is required regardless of whether people believe it or not, or don't believe the reality of the alien abduction phenomenon. There is no doubt that the vast majority of people have heard of it. It was, however, a phenomenon that was pretty much unknown until September 19th, 1961. Yes, there were a few earlier cases, but for the most part, they were not publicized until September 19th. So what exactly is so significant about that particular date? The answer is that it was the date of a now historic UFO event which occurred to a married couple from New Hampshire, Betty and Barney, Betty Hill and stuff, and her husband. Yeah, the Betty abduction. Such was the phenomenal reaction in the story of Betty and Barney Hill. Betty prompted author John Fuller book on write a book on or make a book on the subject titled "Interrupted Journey." An appropriate title indeed, which was published in 1966. Journey, huh? Titled Journey, huh? Since then, the alien abduction phenomenon has grown and spread like wildfires. We may never know for sure how many people believe that they may have been kidnapped and experimented on by black-eyed dwarfish beings from afar. away galaxies. After all, not everyone wants publicity, and particularly so not publicity of a very controversial type. In that sense, there may be many abductees as there are publicly visible ones. Well, ones that ones that don't go around talking about it. BB Plush, Bob Rogers, Little Sunburn. Thank you, BB Plush, for checking in. Bob Rogers, Antonio. Ooh, yes. We're talking about alien sex. Well, people who claim to have alien sex tonight, folks. Or rather, didn't, stuff like that. So we'll be looking at various stories about this. Right now, we're talking about how, well, aliens seem less like an intelligent species from another planet with more advanced technology, and more the fact that they come off as basically weird versions of humans. Bob Rogers, I wonder how many kids he has on other planets. Probably a lot. Probably many. To demonstrate the sheer level of experience on record, it is worth noting that after Whitley Strubber's 87 alien abduction themed book Communion was publicized, Strubber and his late wife Anne received letters from the public in no less than 6 figures. Other books such as Bud Hochman's Missing Time and Dr. John Mack's Passport to the Cosmos have added to the controversy and given it more publicity. But what if there was a far more down-to-earth explanation for the alien abduction phenomenon? That question brings us back to Mac McTunas. I regard the alleged hybridization program here we have with skepticism. How sure are we that these interlopers are extraterrestrial? It seems to be more sensible. Bob Rogers, I heard upwards of 60s kids. Yeah, I heard upwards up to 60s kids. That's a lot of mouths to feed. Yeah, it is. That is a lot of mouths to feed. All right, interlopers are more sensible to assume that the so-called aliens are human, at least in some respect. Indeed, descriptions of intercourse with aliens fly in the face of exobiological thought. If the extraterrestrial population is generally, you can say that as much as you want, but a lot of people, there's such a thing as basically 2 different species looking exactly alike, even though they're not genetically related to each other. So maybe there is such a thing as the fact that they can interbreed, or maybe the fact they are related to each other. Maybe some creature there are humans from outer space, and they've come here to basically be able to hybridize with humans, or basically just have sex with them. Harvest our human genes. If the crypto-terrestrial population is generally impoverished, I assume as it is, then I might rely on harvest of human genes to augment its dwindling gene pool. It would be more advantageous to us to believe we're dealing with an omnipotent extraterrestrials rather than a fallible sister species. The ET myths may be due in part to the long-running and most successful disinformation campaign. Could be. Tons then turned his attention to the claims of Antonio Villas, a Brazilian lawyer who claimed that in 1957, as a young man, while living on his family farm at the time, he was abducted onto a UFO and had sex with a surprisingly hot-looking space babe. Said of Villas' birth story, after intercourse, the big-eyed succubus that introduced Antonio pointed skywards, implying a cosmic origin, but the mere fact that she appeared thoroughly female and moreover attractive belies an unearthly explanation. Further, you can say that as much as you want, but then again, are you sure that humans are from Earth? You can say all you want about evolution, but there are good people. There are a lot of people that point out that humans don't really fit into the evolutionary chain on Earth, no matter how many bodies we dig up or say that there are ancestors. More attractive belies than an earthly explanation. Further, one could argue that the clinical environment encountered by the Leonard spacecraft was deliberately engineered to reinforce his conviction that he was dealing with extraterrestrials. If cryptoterrestrials are using humans to improve their genetic stock, it stands to reason that they've seen at least a few of our saucer movies. As consummate anthropologists, they likely know what we expect of real extraterrestrials and can satisfy our preconceptions with a magician's skill. Their desire for our continued survival, if only for the sake of our genetic material, may have played in a substantial role in helping us to avoid extinction during the Cold War when the UFO phenomenon evolved, if in our skies, much to the consternation of officialdom. Commentators regularly assume that all the contactees, a term for those who claimed encounters with human-like aliens, chiefly in the 1950s, were lying or else delusional. But if we're to experience a staged reality, some of the beings encountered by the contactees might have been real, and the common messages of universal brotherhood could have been a sincere attempt to curb our destructive tendencies. The extraterrestrials' guise would have served as a prudent disguise, neatly misdirecting our attention and leading us to ask the wrong questions, which we're still asking with no substantial results. Tani's told me when word got out that he was working on his book, The Cryptoterrestrial, the cryptoterrestrial theory has met with mixed reactions. Some seem to think that I'm onto something. Most UFO researchers are at best extremely skeptical. Others think I'm parroting John Keel's super spectrum. Keel was the author of the acclaimed 75 book, The Mothman Prophecy, a variation of the parallel worlds theme that in turn shares memes with Jacques Valley's multiverse, Chucky's. Both ideas suggest that we somehow occupy dimensional space with our alien visitors, doing away with the need for extraterrestrial spacecraft while helping to explain the sense of absurdity that accompanies many UFO and occupant sightings. Keel and Valley have both ventured essentially occult ideas in cosmological terms. Both the super spectrum and the multiverse requires a revision of our understanding of the way reality itself works, but the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis is grounded in a more familiar context. So you're basically trying to give, even though these creatures have more advanced technology and advanced abilities, you're still trying to work down that they have something like an earth bit, or that it's completely mundane, or you're trying to make it as mundane as possible. Even though these creatures aren't human either, or whether they're some sort of other species of humans who have more advanced abilities than us and technology. But your idea just comes off as you're just trying to make it sound more reasonable for people to understand it, which could be as well. He explained that I'm not suggesting unseen dimensions or the need for UFO-nauts to downshift to our level of consciousness. Rather, I'm asking if the feasible that the alleged aliens that occupy historical and contemporary mythology are flesh and blood, human-like creatures that live right here on Earth, not another version of Earth in some parallel cosmos, but on Earth, while I can automatically exclude the UFO phenomenon's paranormal aspects. The UFO phenomenon's paranormal aspects. But you probably really shouldn't basically exclude that. There is a lot of paranormal aspects. I can attempt to explain them in technological terms. For example, but you shouldn't really do away with the paranormal aspects to UFOs. There's been so much evidence of there being more something we do not understand with UFOs and other such phenomenon than there has been that it has anything to do with a grounded basis in reality. Though I do think your idea has merit. Some of these creatures could be from Earth. Others could be from beyond this planet, and either, they come from another universe or they're from another planet. I see no damage theoretical and reasons why telepathy and dematerialization can't ultimately be explained by appealing to cybernetics, nanotechnology, and other fields of generally excluded from a ufological discourse. Finally, there was the form of Tani's the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis manages to alternate champions of the extraterrestrial hypothesis and those who support a more esoteric interdimensional explanation. It offers no clear-cut reconciliation. It does, however, wield explanatory potential lacking in both camps. Personally, I thought that Tani's theory was well argued. I admit, however, that it was just a meditation on the scenario. But the idea of some kind of ancient race hiding from us, living deep underground, and passing themselves off as ETs, stretches matters to the absolute extreme. Could it really be? No one really knows for sure, honestly. And also, there are more than one type of creature as well. So maybe it's not just creatures that look like not just humans. It's creatures that look close to human, and there's more than one species as well. That could very well be as well about all of this. With them wanting to hybridize us to basically improve their gene pool. Maybe also improve our gene pool by making hybrids and sending them out to the human race to have more children. Maybe to improve our species as well, at least in their eyes. Could be, folks. In fact, I do think that, I think ultra-terrestrials exist, but I do also think they can be from other universes as well as from outer space as well, some of these creatures. I think there's a good chance a lot of humans on Earth are from outer space. Now, I don't mean that. I mean, humans are all around us, our mothers, our fathers, us, ourselves. I think there's a good chance that we come from outer space, that there are humans out in outer space, and that you're claiming that people can't travel billions of light years is that you basically holding on to anything that will ground your theory in reality. But there's so much evidence pointing that there is no ground in reality, that there's just so much out there. So there could be that as well to consider. I mean, honestly, I'd like to hear a few more chats, folks. Feel free to do that. As well as please hit that like button. Let's go over here. Ooh, not doing too bad with the likes. Yeah, please hit that like button for me, folks. It really helps me fight the algorithm. And we're having some fun talking about, humans who have had relationships with aliens. And we just talked about that right there. Alien worm, that's, let's see this. I guess I could Marilyn Monroe and aliens here and look at this one. Or I could go down here. Let me go over here. 2017. Perhaps. Landing. What's so weird about believing in aliens? So we look at this one, folks? Maybe. I'm trying to get back to the subject here, so maybe take a look at this. What is the connection between David Icke, former Page 3 girl, and Leni Dwelling? Turns out two see eye to eye when it comes to conspiratorial matters. 33-year-old English glamour model and television celebrity expressing a strong admiration for Icke's theories. In an article that appeared in The Sun in March 2013, it was revealed that Dwelling, during a recent private dinner party with a group of friends and acquaintances, stand her companions by stating, among other things, she shares Icke's belief in shape-shifting reptilian aliens. Shape-shifting aliens, huh? The function held during Los Angeles Fashion Week was presumably restricted to the classy, glamorous one named attendee. To being a little shocked by her comments. They were pretty out there, they added. Kept going on about the royals being a bunch of shape-shifting monsters. It was all very weird. She actually believes this stuff. I can believe that too, that they are shapeshifters. She babbled on about David Icke and how everything in his book, The Biggest Secret, has come true, revealed in an attendee. She also thinks everything bad that happens in the world is a conspiracy, even 911. Some of the stuff coming out of her mouth was shocking. And they call her that Dwelling's dinner party companions would think of her as nuts, but questioning the official version of 9/11, or for finding the royals a little scaly in appearance. Not at all surprising when you consider that the vast majority of the population either has no interest in conspiracy theories or finds them, or actually a lot more people are finding conspiracy theories a lot more entertaining nowadays and very interesting and thinking they're very real. The question then is, why would someone like Dwelling, who's been voted as one of FMHM's top women in the world, hold a strong interest in such matters? Dwelling, who currently works as a fashion designer, clearly isn't your typical celebrity. Most celebrities have absolute faith in their government and no desire whatsoever to question the status quo. Dwelling is fiercely suspicious of the powers that be, starting a recent Twitter post regarding Barack Obama. Can you explain how a man who just passed the use of drones, U.S. soil, to kill U.S. citizens with no trial has a Nobel Peace Prize? That is true, you know. I mean, how does someone like that get a Peace Prize? The image of Dwelling represented by the mainstream media is of a woman who's becoming unhinged from reality. Her interest in the conspiracies being a sign of mental instability, stated The Sun. Friends of the model told how Lilini has become socially withdrawn after undergoing a painful divorce and now prefers to be alone with her 3 dogs. The newspaper added that Dworny now spends most of her time reading books about aliens and conspiracy theories rather than seeing her chums. Unfortunately, Dworny doesn't fit into the bimbo model. This is an older article, folks, so this is from years ago and stuff. And I'm only looking at it because she basically saying if there's anything to do with what we're talking with tonight. In fact, she has a reputation for being, Fortunately, Downing doesn't fit the bimbo model. In fact, she has a reputation for being quick-witted and articulate. Receiving high grades in high school, she started, though never completed, a degree in economics at the prestigious Royal Holloway School in Surrey, choosing to quit her studies in order to pursue a career in fashion modeling. Asked to comment on the weird and shocking statements she made recently, she confidently told The Sun, "I did say all of that. I thought it was common knowledge. I truly believe are powerful forces at work that keep the truth from the public." Okay. There's that I was looking at. I was hoping to have something there. I was hoping that it had something what we were talking with tonight, folks. What pickup line do you use on an alien? Damn girl, that body is out of this world? Yes, I'd say probably so. Thank you, Hoth Rebel A6, and thank you for checking in tonight for what we're talking about. We're talking about humans who had relations with aliens. Spius Group promotes safe sex with space aliens. Okay. Should I look at this one, folks? I mean, it's just some Swedish group. But I looked at a few of these articles. I'm going to look at something else a bit more about this. Marilyn Monroe conspiracy and aliens. Did Marilyn Monroe have a relationship with an alien, folks? Maybe not. Maybe we'll take a quick look at this. Mainly because we're getting towards an hour, folks, and I want to wrap up this. I want to look at this before anything else. The American actress, model, and singer born Norma Jean, better known as the masses as Marilyn Monroe, was a cultural icon in the United States in the 50s and early 60s. She was one of the most popular sex symbols in the world and an amazingly successful movie star who took Hollywood and the world by storm in roles that hit movies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Some Like It Hot, and The 7-Year Itch. Such was her insane popularity that even today, decades later, she is still internationally recognized as an iconic figure whose legendary status and larger-than-life. Considering all of this sheer fame, it is perhaps no surprise that the conspiracies which swirl in the wake of her untimely 1962 death, probable suicide. Pretty much everything has been covered by, they say probable suicide, huh? Checks, that's what they say anyway. Everything has been covered, killed by the mafia, Czech killed by the Kennedys, still alive, living on a deserted island somewhere with Elvis and Tupac. Assassinated because she was about to blab about the existence of aliens. What? The official story is that August 62, Monroe was found at her Los Angeles home, dead from what seemed to be acute. She took a bunch of drugs and basically poisoned herself. But this has never flown out with a lot of people, and it has also long been suspected that she was actually murdered, and the whole thing covered by who? Well, if you want a UFO researcher by the name of Dr. Stephen Gruder is to believe, it all goes back to her alleged affairs with both John F. Kennedy and his former Attorney General. Former and his brother, Robert Kennedy. According to Greer, Robert Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, according to Greer, who was also founder of the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Robert Kennedy had been so paranoid about his affair getting out into the open that he had taken to wiretapping her phone, partially to keep his eye on the affair, part of it, and partially to make sure she wouldn't divulge any secrets he had given her. And what secrets were? In 2017 documentary by Michael here, entitled Unknown Acknowledged, which is mostly largely concerns the efforts by the U.S. government to cover up evidence of contactees with the extraterrestrials. And at one point, Monroe comes up in the documentary, claims that he had acquired a summary of their wiretaped conversations. Earth girls are easy. Hoth girls are icy. Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Thanks for checking out tonight, Hoth Rebel 86. All right. Yeah, I was hoping this would have something. Did we have anything on humans having doing with aliens tonight here? Yeah, I got a little off base on this live stream a bit. Let me go over here and stuff because I wanted to cover one more thing on this. According to Gary, this was enough to get this. Should I look at this, folks? I kind of want to. I was hoping we have maybe some idea of it. Maybe she know anything about alien hybrids and stuff like that, or something like that. Let me go over here because we are a bit off base, and maybe I'll cover Marilyn Monroe in her own video and stuff. Let's try hybrids again. We are going about aliens and sex. Let me try this. Bird, fish, and dogman may be signs of hybrids on the rise. Maybe. 2 human alien hybrids in 1 week. This is stuff I've covered before. Maybe give you an idea. Let's try this. See if I can't get any ideas here. Trying to find an article about this. Yeah, talking about, did humans actually have relationships with aliens, folks? Did they not, or did they? I could go back to that article with Marilyn Monroe, but I think I should give it a more a video for her. Well, a video for herself. But either way, we're talking about, have aliens basically create hybrids with humans through sex, or have humans actually had relationships with aliens? Maybe I should try relation. Oops. Relationship aliens. See if we can get that to come up before we go. Ex-military man, the strange story of the tall white aliens. Aliens read map wrong. UAP storm spot 51 instead. First contact. Oh, here's another chat. Thank you for the S-Dogs kennel welcoming. I haven't been in the chat for many moons. Thank you, Roth Rebel 86. First contact. How could we possibly talk with aliens? Maybe say hello? Does lightning have an electric relationship with? There's that. Either way, we're looking at various stories with UFOs and humans having sex with them. Are they having relationships? Wait a minute. Let me try something here. Yeah. Let's see. Woman versus. I'm going to show you so that. As I said before, there was once a man who was abducted by aliens, or rather, he was a contact. He went on their alien spaceship and fell in love with the alien captain, who was very beautiful. He didn't have sex with her, but he basically fell in love with her, and this caused his wife to leave him. I was going to try and basically see if I can bring that story up. Man divorced, worse. Yeah, divorced. Whoops, spelled that. Divorced. And divorced wife over female alien girl over alien girl. I think that might bring it over. Man divorced wife to married daughter kills all. Yeah, no. It didn't work right. Man, alien UFO girl, alien girl UFO. Let's see if I can't bring that up. Antonio Vallis, Mary. Doesn't look like it. Damn it. I was hoping to give you a bit more fun before we left, folks. Have you seen the movie Species? Yep, I've seen the movie Species, Hoth Rebel A6. It's not that bad. I guess I could end my live stream now, folks. I was trying to find a few more articles on what we were talking about tonight and stuff, about humans having relationships with aliens, humans creating hybrid children and stuff like that, and generally people wondering what they are. We looked at quite a few articles. We looked at a few articles that didn't really have anything to do with it. Got a bit off track, but we did generally come to the right thing. Mainly because Marilyn Monroe was brought up on this, and maybe on a video I'll look at her a bit more. But we had some fun tonight, didn't we, folks? Thank you for sticking out with me tonight with the Scumdogs Kill. Who was the hottest alien chick, 7 and 9 or Captain Marvel? Who was the hottest alien chick? Who's the hottest alien chick? I don't know who's the hottest alien chick. There's just a lot of them. But there are definitely a lot of them. And some of them might be fairies. Or humans as well. So most definitely there's that. Now, folks, I'm going to thank you all for joining me tonight. Please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. There's misspelled, it's THERE. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below because I love to hear from you guys. Also, hit that like button because it helps me fight the algorithm so more people can see my videos. And the more people that see my content means the more people the sooner my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out to you. Yeah, the sooner my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out to you. Hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications. Leave some comments down below. I love to hear from you. Also, share this video on Twitter and Facebook. Also, please go over and subscribe to Stitch Together Picks. Stitch Together Picks is a YouTube channel hosted by the Maniacal Cinephile. He does reviews of movies. You're going to love his reviews. They are great. He plays this character who has multiple personality disorder called the Maniacal Cinephile, and you're not just getting one character, you're getting a whole bunch of them, and they are fun. Also, please go over and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Creepy Little Book is like the Art Bell radio show. He does little videos talking about high strangeness, but he also does live streams every night. On weekdays, he live streams at 12:30 a.m., and on weekends, he live streams at 10 o'clock p.m. He talks about aliens and ghosts, and learns so much from watching his live streams. All right. So there's that as well. Let's see, anything else to cover? Oh, yeah. Also, please go. Also, remember, folks, I'll be back again tomorrow around 11 o'clock p.m. for another live stream, so be sure to come back again then. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me.